an agent coach them through the 2 to 3 to get them to the 4 to 5s? How's that work?
First thing I do is look at their schedule to see how much time is wasted every day. To say, tell me what you did in the afternoon. It's amazing how people's day expands to fit time allotted. So we try to multitask lots of things. If we sell a house to a buyer and it's a good sale, 600, 800,000, I teach them to hold the house open for the inspection and then go door knock up and down the street while they're doing the home inspection. So not only are we sitting at the home inspection, we're going to meet all the neighbors who see our competitors' sold sign, but we're stealing the next seller. So what I try to do is I try to show them that going from 3 to 6 deals isn't that hard, because really your 3 deals are only 90 minutes a day. I got 6.5, 8.5 hours more a day. I can find some more signatures.
Got it. Cool. All right. Good job. Okay. So, but we want to go now. I want to go from 10 to 12 to 25. We talked about that a little bit earlier. Okay. That jump you say is a little bit easier. Help us through that.
When you're going to, from 10 to 20, you have to have better systems. It's all the systems. You know, Mike affiliated with Vulcan 7 here a while back, probably a great move for all of us, because having looked at everything, they have it's neighborhood search or something like that. This allows you to literally get onto Vulcan 7 and start calling 5, 6 numbers deep instead of being on the phone by yourself and going, the auto dial or single dialer at a time to make sure we're compliant is going like crazy to help us grow our business. We have to delegate more. For instance, I had the great fortune of coaching Josh Barker. What people don't know is Josh's transaction coordinator did 60 closings a month, just her and one secretary, because the systems are there to delegate everything. As realtors, we have a tendency to take everything on to justify our commission. Yes?
Yes.
I want you to delegate everything. Here's a simple rule. If I give a loan to a banker and the buyer calls me to ask a lending question, they're fired. That banker has to call our buyers twice a week so the buyer doesn't call us. Because when I'm talking to a buyer I have under contract about an appraisal, that's a lender question. Am I talking to a new seller? Am I finding a new client? So the key is to look at your day and decide what are you doing that someone else can do equal or better, faster or cheaper, so it frees you up to be making more appointments. It goes back to the beginning. Our job is to set appointments all day, not just do prospecting for 90 minutes and then try to find other stuff to do.
We spend a lot of time doing that, don't we?
It fills the day.
Exactly. Good
it's
job.
It's easier than prospecting.
Okay. So let's open it up here to a couple questions. Let's see. Diane Varney, you want to ask your question? Unmute yourself.
Hi there.
Hi, Diane.
Good to see you both. So my question is about calling our sphere of influence. You were talking about it earlier, and we got permission, so to speak, to incubate leads a little bit under the circumstances to kind of create a B list, as you were, as opposed to what we're taught about finding a buyer or seller who wants to do something in 7 to 10 days. So now that we have this list of this business that will probably take place this year, but not immediately, how do you suggest we keep in touch with those particular leads?
You maintain this list, and Mike recommended that we get rid of the 7 to 10 for most people because we couldn't find someone who wanted to sell in 7 to 10 days, obviously, right, because we couldn't meet with them. So Mike said, hey, extend it out until this is over. Well, Diane, does the public think it's sort of over?
No.
What day is it going to be over?
We don't know.
So call the client to see if they think it's over. Hi, Steve, this is Diane. You were kind enough to talk to me back in April, said that you wanted to wait till the COVID-19 is sort of over. That appears to be this week. I'll see you tonight at 5. See,
Yeah, you know, on this point, Steve and Diane, this is really important because I think we are in the middle of it and we don't see it quite over. But I got to tell you something, the public, they're
think it's
done
over.
with this.
they're
They're
done.
done with this. If you walk the streets, you'll see people in restaurants. You're going to see them in stores. You're going to see the cars. There's lots of cars on the streets. You know, I walk the neighborhood, take a walk every evening in downtown Beverly Hills and walk the streets in here. And there was a time about 8 or 9 weeks ago where there was no one on the streets. I actually have a video of turning around on Rodeo Drive and showing everybody what was going on. There was no traffic, no people, nothing. I just did the same thing last night. It's like business as usual. So I think the public thinks we're back. And we need to tell them. So if you have those leads, go talk to them, go call them, go follow up. That's my take on that one, Steve. Sorry.
And 1 out of 2 will tell you, no, they're not ready. They're still scared of the coronavirus. Excellent. I'll call you next week. And 1 out of 2 won't. And I'll be meeting them tonight at 5.
Exactly.
I'm not looking for Mrs. Right. I'm looking for Mrs. Right now.
Yeah. Good point. I
Thank
like
you.
that.
That was great. Thank you.
Good question, Diane. Thank you. Hey, Steve, Raymond Martin from YouTube says, should I hire my first assistant at how many transactions? He put a number down here, but I'm going to open it up to you, Steve. Is there a number for you?
First of all, it depends on your economic situation. If you come into real estate with lots of bank, and I coach people that come from, they own companies and they sold them for tens of millions of dollars. They come in with a full-time assistant because they have the depth and they understand delegation. So if you've got the money and you've got the drive and you've got the right system, and the MyPray system is perfect, and you've got a coach that's telling you what to do, then I'm saying jump in it, get an assistant, because we need you to go hunting. In my coaching, I use the term, we hunt buffalo. We don't skin buffalo. We don't train horses. We leave the tribe and go shoot buffalo all day long. Somebody else will skin them. So if you can afford an assistant and it won't bankrupt you, do it right away. Depending on your price point, anywhere from 20 to 30 deals, you need an assistant. Because at that point, you're starting to do way too much admin and they'll be interfering with your daily schedule. Because as we're taught, every time we put a house under contract, we got 8 new people to talk to. And if I can get someone else to talk to them, that's 8 people I don't have to talk to. And that's 8 new sellers I can try to find.
Exactly. Good job. All right. Other questions for Steve? We don't have anything in the Zoom chat right now.
There was a question that came in, Steve, on the chat. What are your recommendations for someone licensed less than a year?
First of all, work for Century 21 Masters.
Okay, that's good enough. We can stop it
Okay,
right.
that's it. End it there. Thank you. Any other questions?
I'll share a personal detail. About 12 years ago, I said to Neil, I'm trying to convince my wife, you remember the conversation, to move to California. And the day I quit coaching, I'm going to come work for you, Neil, because I don't think there's a better place for an individual to be able to grow with the support and the systems needed. Now, if you're not making the money that you want to make, don't look at Neil. Don't look at Robert. Look inside. Look in the mirror. Are you really working 10, 12 hours a day? I have a 92-day plan with my coaching clients, June, July, and August. There's 31 days in August and July. We have a 92-day plan. I know the days they're working, the hours they're working. I know their vacation days. We've planned it so they're making money when it's easier to make money, and they're taking vacations when it's a little slower so they don't lose as much. But I expect them to work 10, 12 hours a day. June, guys, is the April and May we didn't have. We didn't have an April and May market. It's all in June till July 4th. So if you're not working 10, 12, 14 hours a day, shame on you. When you go to Neil in October, go, Neil, I'm so broke. I didn't make any money. Neil inside is going to go, Well, you didn't work at all during the summer. What'd you expect?
Yeah. Well, that isn't quite what happens here. 7 o'clock in the morning, they get a phone call from me, get out of bed and get going. And we do have a reputation in the community, good, bad, or indifferent. But when you go to work for Neil, you go to work.
I love that. That's why I go
yeah.
to work for you.
Yeah. So that's the attitude. But our agents make a lot of money and do really well and have a good time off. So Steve, thank you for the commercial. Let's get back to you though. Let's help them. So what do we need to do right now, post-COVID? All right, it's behind us. I think it's behind us. I don't know if there'll be another spike. There may or may not be. And if there is, all the people that are in the 2-bedroom, 2-bath condos that are sick and tired of looking at the walls, you need to be talking to them and selling them a house right now. Because in 90 days, if they go back into quarantine, are they going to be unhappy?
That's right.
Okay, so talk to us. What do we need to do post-COVID?
In my mind, you have to act like the next 60, 90 days, it's all or nothing. You know, we have an election year in November. No matter who you want, it's a choice of two, in my mind, two idiots. Honestly, 400 million people in the country, and these are the two we get, really? So when we have an election year, things are a bit dicey. Whether you're one side or the other, doesn't matter. It's an election year. I'm having everyone act as if in September the faucet's going to get turned off. I don't think it's going to, but we are working as if it's going to. So in September, if the election comes in and gets all fluey and the faucet turns off for 3 months, we've made enough money through the summer to get through winter. Remember, squirrels work all summer for winter. They don't rest when there's lots of acorns. They work their ass off because when there's no acorns, they can go back and get the ones they needed. So my suggestion is whatever you think you're going to work, you better add it another 25%, but not add it being at work, Neil, add it talking to people, talking to someone, door knocking people, meeting people that can make a decision, not just being at work. So
we are in the talk to people business, aren't we?
Contacts or contracts, contacts to contracts.
I love it. All right. Good job. So had another one of our agents ask you about working a database. Okay. So what do you, how you have a database, what is your definition of working your database? How many contacts, how much touching, etc.?
One of the things to remember is that when we have a database, 10% will give us a deal every year if we ask. We've all heard that, yes?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, we don't recognize the fact that we have to call the database 4 times. Well, if I have 10 people times 4 call, that's 40 calls for one deal.
Got it.
That means 39 calls don't do anything, 1 works. So if we miss a call, we could have missed the 1 in 40 chance of getting that deal. And if we don't stay in touch with them, then we're not working the database. Additionally, if we look at Jason Penrose, Jason is married to a wonderful woman. They have different personalities. They have different spheres. So in your database, are you calling both partners? Are you calling the husband and the wife separately 4 times a year? On top of that, if Jason, who is a bit analytical, generally not going to give me near the referrals as his wonderful, expressive wife, who knows everybody. So I'm going to call Jason's wife 6 times a year because Jason's wife talks and knows everybody. The best referrals come from amiables and expressives. Analyticals don't want to give out your name because they don't like confrontation. Drivers don't have any friends, so they can't give out your name. Well, drivers have 3 friends. So those 3 friends will use you. But the amiables and expressives, they know everybody. So when I have an amiable, I work him or her because that's a much better lead source. So call the husband and wife, the partners separately. Call them in their personality style. It makes the call better for them with a higher return to us. Call them 4 times a year, and some of them need to be upgraded because they're bird dogs. But if you're only calling the husband in January, the wife in March, the husband in September, and leaving a message in December, that's not working your database, Neil, because the wife only heard from you 1 time.
Got it.
How are you their realtor? You got to work them.
Okay, good. Great point. Awesome point. Okay, other questions for Steve Powers?
So there was a
Come on.
question that came in through Facebook is, Steve, do you think there's going to be another wave of short sales? And if you do, how would you handle that?
I don't believe it's going to be a wave. I think it's going to be a little sputter. And the reason for it is I have some people way up in banking. And this is much different than the last time when we had the big wave of short sales. The economy was in a dumper. Nobody had jobs. Nobody could catch up. If I needed to sell my house today because I don't have the ability to pay my forbearance to catch up on my mortgage, and I bought a house, Robert, 4 years ago for $400,000, how much is that house worth today in your market?
From 4 years ago to
let's
today?
just call it 500.
Yeah.
So I got equity. Why am I going to turn the house into the bank when I can sell it in a week with a realtor, take $140,000 out, and then solve my economic problems? The difference between 05 and now is there's equity in these properties. And we haven't seen this go down. So unless after the election we have a terrible recession, I don't think there's going to be a wave. Will there be some short sales? Yeah, but I don't see us throwing in our keys like we did. So I think that the market's going to do this. But let me be clear. When the market's going up, people buy and sell. When the market's going down, people buy and sell. When interest rates are going up, people buy and sell. When interest rates are going down. I don't care if prices go up, prices go down. What I can't stand is level. Nobody does nothing when it's level. When the prices are flat and the interest rates are flat, nobody has any urgency. Change is good. I don't care which way it goes.
Love it. All right, good job. Other questions for Steve? Steve.
So question came in, Steve, is you talked about 3 to 6, 15, 10 to 20. How do you get from 35 to 50?
You got to look at your marketplace, first of all. Are you in a resort market? Are you selling luxury homes? If you're selling $3 million homes going 35 to 50, that's a haul. And you can do it. And if you do that, call me. My website is stevepowersrealestatecoach.com. Okay. And get in touch with me and I'll show you. But if you're a regular real estate agent doing $600,000 homes, $400,000 homes, going from 35 to 50, it comes down to your schedule, your systems, and your skills. If your schedule is off, you won't have the time to do those extra 15. If your skills are off, you'll have to work way too hard to convert more. And if your systems are bad, where you're overseeing your assistants all day and doing their job, well, then you won't have the free time to find those extra 15 deals. Because a simple thing, guys, if you look at trying to do 15 more deals, that's one deal every 22 days. That's it. So if you're not a Mormon, you can work on Sunday evening. You work every Sunday evening for 3 weeks in a row. I guarantee you find a deal. So getting the 50 deals is relatively simple. It's in your database. It's in your market. You just have to clear your day to have a little more time to find those deals.
But Steve, how do you really feel?
This is the easiest business in the world.
I love it.
I'm going to tell you a quick story. I live on a lake. I have a police detective who was here 9-10 years ago. Came down for 3 days. His text was, "I'm coming to your lake." That means he had a bad day. He shows up. He sits on the back deck. He has a big bandage here and a big bandage here. Not a word. A realtor shows up to use my ramp. Realtor friend of mine. Uses the ramp. Goes fishing all day. Comes in, has a beer. Tells me about his deal that was horrible. Oh my God, termites, 500. I mean, Neil, it was a 15-minute story over $600 worth of repairs. I said, that's terrible. And I know what happened. I said, my friend here is a police detective. What happened to you? He said, well, I stopped a car for speeding at 2 o'clock in the morning, walked up to the car. A guy grabbed me from the back seat. Then they jumped me and started to stab me. What happened? He goes, well, I was able to get away and they drove off. And he said to my friend who's a realtor, he goes, but honest to God, I thought this was a problem. but you had to do all that work, so you only made $15,000. Oh my God, I'm so glad I'm not in real estate. Honest to God, we have the easiest job in the world. You call people that want to sell. You use a script that gets you an appointment. The seller's going to meet with 3 idiots. You only got to be the best idiot. Then they hire you and they give you a bunch of money to put it on the market at the right price so it sells itself. Then we bitch and whine and complain all the way to closing and get a check for 12 grand. Whew, I don't know how anybody does it.
That's right. And then I want to be a speaker.
Or a manager.
Or a manager. Exactly. Can open my own company. Exactly.
And I'm not belittling our profession, guys. Just understand, our job is to set appointments, go on appointments, take the listing, get it sold, tell the world, get another. Repeat, 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 repeat. 7 years later, I'm out of here. Lots of money. Thank you very much. Enjoy the show.
It's very smart. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. You bring it home with a passion. I like that. Good job. Bernie Gallerini, thank you for joining us. Good job, baby. See Bernie there waving hello.
Invite, Neil. That was awesome. I appreciate it. Steve Powers is the best. I coached for Steve with Steve for 10 years. And I'll tell you what, man, this guy, anywhere he goes, I try to listen to him because he's just absolutely amazing.
Bernie, only 10 years. Maybe you need to do it again. You know, maybe you missed something.
Well, no, I guarantee you I missed a lot because there was never a call with Steve Powers that I wasn't writing pages of notes. So no matter where any of us are in production, we always have something to learn from somebody.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Very, very cool. Steve, okay, we have an energy question here, okay? And you seem to have a lot of it. So the energy question is, you know, you're telling people to get up and get to the office at 7 o'clock in the morning. My God, Neil calls them at 7 o'clock and tells them to get going. I mean, this is what we do. We actually ask people to get up and exercise at 5 or 4:30 in the morning, all right? So, and then we're calling and we're door knocking and we're working on the scripts and we're working on the dialogues. So the question is, to do that throughout the day and day in and day out, 5-6 times a week, what do you do to get the energy to be able to do that on a regular basis? That's the question.
It comes from having a plan. You know, if you don't have a plan, then you don't know where you're going. If you're just walking around in the desert, not looking for anything, well, one leg's inherently shorter than the other. You're just going to walk in a big circle. If you don't have a plan what you're doing, then you have no energy. If you don't have a focus, you know, one of the best books I recommend all of the people I read that I had coached is a book called U Squared by Price Pritchett.
Yes.
It's 39 pages. You'll love the book. It's a 2-bathroom visit book. You visit the bathroom, you've read it. Okay. It's a wonderful book. But Bernie knows it. I kept going back to page 18. You must learn to embrace chaos, allow disorder in your life, shoot from the hip. Don't try to figure it out. Just keep moving forward. You've got a family at home that you left this morning and told that you are going to work. Work means you meet people that want to sign contracts. Work does not mean you make up stuff so you can go home at night and tell a tale of woe. You make appointments. That is your job. And part of it is, by a show of hands, because I'm only on screen one, how many people have a written 5-year plan? See, there's the problem. You don't know where you want to be in 5 years, so you don't really have 1-year plans. See, your 5-year plan depends on your 1-year plans. And your 1-year plan depends on 90-day plans. And your 90-day plans depend on 30-day plans, depend on 7, depend on daily plans, breaking it down. And your daily plan depends on what you choose to do for the next hour. So if you don't have a strong enough goal, if you're not emotionally attached to your goal, well, then you'll find things to do all day to justify your day. Folks, we're all going to die in 100 years. It's a blank. So you better make as much as you can during that 100 years. Because, man, this is such an easy business to make a lot of sales and provide great customer service. You better be dedicated, or why'd you go to work? Life's too short to do half.
You know, I don't think we can get a better ending than life's too short to get a better half, and get out and make it happen. Steve, this has been awesome. Can't tell you how much I appreciate it. I know my staff and my sales agents do, and everyone on the mastermind call. If you unmute yourself, Steve can hear you. Unmute yourself, everybody. Good job. Woohoo!
Thank you.
All right.
That was awesome.
Thank you, Steve.
Thank
Steve
you.
Powers.
Steve.